Bring your curiosity. Let's see where it leads.
Episode 16. Nostalgia for lives I never lived. Have you ever felt a longing for a time or place you never actually experienced? A home you never lived in, a city you never visited, a childhood you never had? I think about this often. Sometimes I'll walk through a city or look at an old photograph and feel a tug in my chest, a strange ache for a life that isn't mine. And yet, it feels real. There's a name for it, sort of. Anemoia. Nostalgia for a past you never lived. And I think it says something interesting about how humans experience longing, memory, and imagination. Because maybe we're always trying to find a life that feels more whole, more magical, more ours. I've read that nostalgia is really just a desire for coherence. We crave stories where the pieces of our lives make sense. But sometimes our own lives feel too fragmented, too chaotic, too unfinished. So we borrow other timelines. We watch old films, revisit music from decades we didn't live in, get lost in stories of people whose lives could have been ours. And in those moments, we inhabit a version of existence we'll never actually touch. It's bittersweet, it's comforting, and heartbreaking. I think about films like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where memories can be rewritten. There's a strange power in imagining what might have been. Even the impossible feels tangible. Sometimes this longing isn't just personal, it's collective. We get swept up in the aesthetics of other eras. 1920s jazz clubs, 1980s synthwave, 2000s early internet culture, and feel like we belong there. Why do we romanticize these pasts we've never experienced? Maybe it's because nostalgia isn't about truth. It's about the emotions we wish we could feel, the love, the warmth, the innocence. And sometimes it's about futures that never came to be. Alternate timelines where choices were different, where lives unfolded another way. The universes that spin off quietly in the corner of reality, leaving traces in our imagination. It's strange but comforting. We carry infinite versions of ourselves in our minds, and in a way, they're just as real as the one we live. What fascinates me most is how nostalgia, even for lives we never lived, can be creative. It's a way of building worlds inside our heads. We paint cities that never existed, compose music for decades we skipped, dress in clothes we'll never wear, write letters we'll never send. It's an act of imagination, but also an act of empathy, reaching across time, space, and possibility to inhabit someone else's life, even for a moment. And maybe that's what art is too. A vessel for the lives we never get to live, stories we never get to tell, lived and relived in other bodies' minds. So maybe it's okay to feel a little homesick for what never was. Maybe it's okay to wander through the echoes of other lives, to sit in the shadow of possibilities we'll never touch. Because in that longing, we discover something profound. The human heart is infinite. Our imagination, our ability to dream other existences, is boundless. And that might be the most beautiful part of it all. Thanks for listening to Eccentric Aloof. This was episode 16, Nostalgia for Lives I Never Lived. See you in the next one.